Hey pals, it's Waltech. Today we have a budget $10 graphics card I got from some guy off Facebook Marketplace about a year or two ago. This one was a little surprising because it actually beats one of the cards I previously covered on this channel. And the reason it's surprising is because the card we're looking at is the AMD Radeon HD 5850, which is the generational predecessor to the 6850. Now the thing you know about generational cards is that the future card of the same model number is always a little better, right? Well, in practice, yes, but in theory, no. If we look on Tech Power Up, everything about the 5850 points to it being a better card than the 6850, besides the price. But the thing that's quite odd to me, I can't find anything that would make the 6850 a better card, but it is when we go into our benchmarks. The 5850 has more shader cores and more TMUs, a higher power limit. It's built off the same exact lithography of 40 nanometers as the 6850. It has half a teraflop of higher performance for theoretical computing, and yet it performed even worse than the 6850 did. Now, where I do need to give AMD credit is the 6850 might have had less performance than the 5850, but the 6850 was nearly half the price of it at launch, going all the way from $300 to only $179 at when the card was released to the market. Like, you would never catch them doing that ever now. Like, at the 5060 was slightly worse than the 4060, but it was half the price of the 4060, people would literally be praising that card right now like it was a miracle. I also think the 6850 is more appealing because you only needed one 6 power pin connector, which was probably more common for most computers back then, and you also needed only a 300 watt power supply on recommendation, so it was pretty capable of being ran in most computers. But enough of that, let's see how the 5850 actually games. This is already where this card started falling apart. I decided to do the in-house benchmark for Injustice 2. I put everything to the lowest settings, I put it on 900p, and even with all that settings, the benchmark did horrible. We got an average of 44. You can read for yourself, it's not very good. Now the next game I decided to do was Skyrim Special Edition, which is, you know, a newer release of Skyrim, so it's more demanding than the initial 2013 release. However, weirdly, this ran way better than the 6850. We had this on Ultra 1080p, and honestly, pretty playable. This was better than even consoles seem to do with this before the current gen right now. We got an average of 43 frames a second, a maximum of 59, a low of 4 FPS, which was very weird, might have just been a lag spike, and a 1% low of 1 FPS. Next game I decided to try was one of my favorites. You know what it is, it's Yakuza Zero. I do this in almost every video. This is one where the 6850 outshone it again. Only doing medium settings at 1080p, we only got an average of 36 frames a second, a high of 122, a low of 25, and a 1% low of 16. And I will say this was not very nice to play. The frame time was very bad on it, it was not good. Next we did a 3D Mark Firestrike DirectX 11 benchmark on it. Yeah, I'll show you like what it did until, you know, like it didn't work anymore. So yeah, no, it didn't do good. Next we did Fortnite on performance mode at the lowest meshes, lowest settings, like as I could get at a 1080p. And I will say, it did get an average of 53, a high of 61, a low of 21, and a 1% low of 9, but the frame times were so bad playing through this game, and it just felt horrible. The experience was really just not worth it. Most phones out there will run this game at higher frame rates with better looking graphics than this card did. It's really bad experience. Don't get the 5850 for Fortnite. If you're looking to play that, get something a little better. I was going to try Siege with it because it is an esports option, but surprise surprise, it didn't launch. So, not surprised. I mean, kind of was not doing good through a lot of this. I think the lack of driver support and just how old it is just a reason that the numbers tanked. I'm sure if the 5850 actually was pushed and had like proper support to push it to its limits, it probably actually is better, because theoretically everything about it should be better than the 6850, but the 6850 is actually a better card. Because according to the numbers, I don't see any reason why it was doing worse, but it just did. Personally, I don't even think this card is worth $10. There's cards that literally are OEM cards from AMD that are newer, and they run pretty much just as good as this for around $10 to $12 on eBay. just get one of those. At least they're more cost efficient, they're more energy efficient. 5850 is just a useless card at this point. Or if you're insisting on it, at least get the 6850, because drivers are a bit better and the card actually functions the way it's supposed to. Thanks for stopping by, this has been Waltech and I am signing out. Have a good one.